likes. I do like a nice car to drive, and today I've got an Audi A5, and this is the 4-door fastback. It's an S-Line 45, let me get all this right, 45 TFSI mild hybrid Quattro, which is a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder 4-wheel drive, and it's got a mild hybrid system, which I'm not entirely sure what it does. It doesn't seem to have helped the fuel economy. It doesn't roll the car forward in traffic. I think it only does infotainment system. I think it and the aircon as well, probably, when you're in traffic, and it gets a bit unregent. I don't know. It doesn't. It seems to be a bit of a box ticking exercise. Does a mild hybrid bit. Now, my first thing getting in the car, I notice fingerprints everywhere, because they've gone to this, everything controlled in the screen system, MMI I think Audi call it. So you can see fingerprints, everything's glossy. Don't like that. That's not real aluminium. I went to hide some belongings in this armrest, which it's nice, it adjusts wherever you stop, it won't go back down. And then you've got to take it up, take it back down, it fully goes back down, so you can set a nice rest height there. But and that goes back and forward. But I think they missed a critical point, that you can't hide stuff in there. What were you thinking? That's it, it won't go any further forward than that. 2 cup holders. I presume that's an ashtray of some kind. It's not really, is it? Because it doesn't remove. No, so it's just a storage box. Our ashtray is a thing of the past. Something I did like, which I thought looked quite slick, was the way they put the vent all the way across there. But then when we've had a look at it, we realised it's not a vent, it's just for looks. So this vent works, and these two work as you'd expect, but shame they didn't implement that. So let's turn it on, and you can see what we got. It all starts up as you'd expect. Some self-checks. Initialising. Well, that's gone out, that's good, because I didn't know what that light was. So I'll turn the radio off. And there's lots of go to connect. You can't do much without it connecting to a phone. I think it's finding something. So everything's a little stuck in menus. You've got heating, thank God, cooling, which is all as you'd expect, and it's got rear. I'll get some shots of that later. It's got rear system, but everything's a little bit. You've got to go searching for things in the menus. It's a little bit, I don't know, maybe you become fluent with that over time. So that's radio, that's other media, phone call, sat nav, and the car itself. So it's got several drive modes. That's flickering on screen, isn't it? It is what it is. It's not flickering for real. Yeah, several drive modes, which it tells you down there. Efficiency. So this is the S-Line 45. I don't think it's got any extra packages on it. Again, a bit of a nothing menu, doesn't do anything. Nothing really in the aircon menu. I presume rain sensors for wipers. Yeah, automatic wipers. The parking aid it's got a reverse camera and some sensors. Driver assist. You can set speed warning at say 75, it reminds you when you're busting motorway speeds. The pre-sense is to prevent crashes. But there isn't much. It brakes for you. But actually no, I think pre-sense is the one that bongs at you. Pre-sense Plus is the one that brakes for you. So again, it's an option that's not fitted. And that's it, there's not a lot else on there. So moving on to this virtual cockpit, I think they call it. You've got various menus in the trip computer type thing there. Long-term memory, 30 miles per gallon. It's quite a way off the claimed 37 that they do. 23 short term, so that was me running round town yesterday. So basically that's what it does round town. That's your lot. There's a view button on the steering wheel here, which shrinks it down like that. Gotta be honest, looks a little bit busy. There's too much information going on in front of you with that one. I much prefer that view. And then you've got your usual Audi, make a call, volume for your radio. It's got cruise control set down here. There's no adaptive cruise on this. This is a speed limiter on top and then your usual up-down speeds. Up here we've got, I don't know what that button does. Oh, sending data, please wait. Roadside assistance, we should probably cancel that. Yeah. Emergency SOS, let's not do that either. That's for your interior lights. A nice touch I did like, they are touch sensitive on your reading lights, which is nice. What's that? They're just holes. Doesn't anything, there's no sunroof in here. I think that's the sunroof blank panel. Coming down to your gear selector, the usual modern Audi setup, auto handbrake, manual handbrake. You got to push the button to shift into gear, and that puts it into park, which is different to the old one where you pushed it traditionally past reverse to park. I found this one a bit odd. That's the volume, and I found passengers knock that a bit because it's just too much. It's right next to their legs are here. It gets knocked a bit. And then over this side you've got fog lights, front fogs, lights, normal Audi setup. No silly options on this like night vision and heads-up display and things like that. Driver's door, usual mirrors, heated mirrors, all four windows. A really nice touch I like. I've only seen this on A8s of the older ones, and I'm guessing they're starting to put it on the more modern stuff. This is child locks in the rear, and I find that really nice because you don't have to get out and flick a switch and do that. You can just, you know, an adult gets in and then they go, oh, I can't get out, child lock's on. You don't have to get out. Done that. Boot release and close, I believe. Let's try that. I can't remember if it closes it. But if we look in the mirror, that's opened. And it does close, great. Nice. And that's it interior front wise. Let's go for a spin and we'll go around the rest of it later. Safety first. Clunk, click every trip, who remembers that? I'm showing my age. So I'll put it into drive, which is it's set on efficiency mode right now. You touch your throttle and the handbrake auto releases. I'm not 100% sold on electronic handbrakes, but they seem to be the future, don't they? And that's the parking sensor sensing the floor because my driveway is so steep. It's quite a quiet ride. I don't need to. They need to shout to have a conversation there. I don't think it's got double glazing on these models like the A8s have. These A5 are basically an A4 derived car. They're a fastback, they call it, which is four-door coupe sort of shape. A long hatchback, you'd call it. We'll get some shots of the exterior. You can see quite a sleek looking shape actually. There's a few things I like about the outside, and a couple of things not so much. So one of the first things I'm going to test here, I'm going to turn up quite a rough bumpy road and just see how it feels, because this, being the S-Line, is firmer suspension than the regular ones, so it rides about 20 something millimeters lower. So we'll go up this road, and it's quite a bumpy one, so we'll see what it does. Now I notice on these later models they've made the engine stop start a little bit more advanced. It used to be when you came to a stand, your stop start would then stop your engine while your foot was on the brake, and now it seems to stop a bit more. I don't think I've had it do it any more than, certainly not 10 mile an hour. So let's it's quite a firm ride actually. But yeah, the stop start is more advanced than it was, where it will stop the car, stop the engine whilst you're still rolling. So yeah, this is quite a bumpy road up here. It's jiggling all over the place. It is a fairly firm ride, but not, you know, we're not talking RS5 type ride. It's an S-Line, not an S5. So the S-Line is only looks-wise. It looks a little bit sporty. It doesn't have the beastie engine that the S-series of Audis have. That said, it's not slow. Top of my head, it was about 260 horsepower and 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds, which, you know, 20 years ago was phenomenally fast. You know, you were talking the top end stuff doing that, but these days we're getting fuel economy and performance. And I will try a 0 to 60 pull a little bit late on a safer road. You're welcome. Yeah, I took that bumpy road quite smoothly. It's nice. Not as smooth as some, but and still quite quiet going over those bumps. This is the second generation of Audi A5. It came out, top of my head, about 2007, and then they switched to this model about 3 years ago. This car is 4 months old. It's done 3,000 miles, so as you'd expect, it still looks pretty new. We can thank Audi at Huddersfield for this. They've got my car in for a recall, so they've given me this for 2 days. The fan's a bit louder than I'd like it to be on the aircon. That's only on level 2. I'll try to position my camera there to give you a bit of a driver's eye view. We have only done 14 miles per gallon since we left my place. Let's hope that improves. So we'll bring it up to road speed up here, which is 60, national speed limit. Doesn't seem much louder at 60 than it did at 35, 40, so they've done a good job with the wind noise. But it is quite a sleek, laid-back shape, is the A5. So consumption then, what does it say? Oh, so we're currently cruising at about 28 miles per gallon on a slightly rising hill. And it's gone into top gear E7, 7-speed box. Steering feels nice weighted. Because this road does push you around a bit. This road is a fairly uneven. There's a fairly serious left camber on it, and it's a typical Yorkshire Pennine road. So there we go. Look at that, bumps everywhere. Good grief! I'll do a cheeky 0 to 60 pull here. So I'm going to drive select and put it in dynamic, which is what Audi call the sporty one. So, oh yeah, D. So what I'll do is I'll use the speed off the 0 to 60, and then I'll check the camera timing from the moment we set off. For a nice empty road. $30, $40, $50, $60. That felt suitably brisk to me. I think it's probably about what they claim. What was it, 5.4? It's a little bit slow. A little bit slow on the 0 to 20, shall we say. It felt a little bit, but I suppose that's your turbo spooling up. You could hear them screaming a little bit. So if I keep it in S mode, I'll just see what happens there. I'm going to drop it down to 40, and then I'm going to put my foot down and just watch how it responds. As you'd expect, really. It's not slouching. There's a little bit of turbo lag, a little bit of gearbox lag, but nice. So apparently this firms up the suspension in this dynamic mode, sport mode, but I can't really tell any difference there. The A-pillar is a little thicker than I'd like, a little bit obscuring, and as I'll show you when I get out, the door is very low, the roof. I'm not tall and I struggle to get in. I've got to duck around it. I do like cruise control. I like driving on cruise. I also enjoy driving a car properly. I like a manual gearbox. I like an automatic that's good. You know, everything, horses for courses, really. I think if you're doing a lot of miles, motorway miles, you don't want a manual. You know, just let it drive for you. Adaptive cruise control, lane keeping, brilliant. You know, if you're a rep or just somebody who's doing a lot of miles, you don't want to be driving it all yourself. You want to relax in, just let it do it for you. I'm all for a bit of autopilot after a long job, a long day at work. If it could drive it home after that, but then being able to switch it into some sporty mode and enjoy the drive then as well. Put that back. I'm going to put it on comfort. I'm going to be an older man. Comfort mode. Whatever that entails, I don't know. I would imagine that's smooth gear changes and the softest suspension. So the cruise on this does brake as well, because some cruise controls don't. So we're approaching a 30 zone now. I'm just going to set 30 there. Yeah, and it's pulling it down a decent degree, which somebody else probably could have learned from, because the other day there was a nasty accident here. You can see skid marks on the road there. I believe was a fatality. So yeah, it was a mess. You see, I never came to a stand there, but the engine did stop. I'm going to turn left here and see if it stops again as I'm turning. Yeah, the engine stopped now, and I'm still doing 10 miles an hour. I'm not convinced on this engine stop-start. It's a good thing. I mean, does it shorten the life of your starter motors? I'm not sure. It just seems a lot of wear and tear to me. But I'm sure these engineers know what they're doing. They must build in some kind of robustness to it. So speed limit's 20 here, so I'm going to hit this bump at 20. Yeah, you know you've hit it. One you can't really straddle, and again you know you've hit it. Now this is a very steep hill, so I'm going to set my cruise at 40 there and just let it hold me back. See how it does it. It's holding a lower gear. Handling wise though, nice, you know, you can tuck it into corners. It handles like a smaller car than it is. It does feel well planted, effortlessly. Again, that aircon changing tune, quite noisy. It's only on 2 bars there. And if you turn it up, that's only on 4 out of 6. Yeah, that's on full. That's really loud. Doesn't have an automatic for the fan, or if it has, I can't find it. I do prefer a bigger car myself. Maybe it's an age thing, I don't know. I've got 2 kids and a dog, and I just like to be able to get stuff in and be in comfort. That said, I do really like the look of the newer A-Class, because when they came out, the A-Class, they did look like an overinflated smart car. They were hideous. But the new ones are real sleek. I did consider an A5, first generation. Shit. I was looking for a cabriolet, because I like the wind in my hair. A cabriolet that's big enough to get 4 in fairly comfortably, which there's not many really. Proper 4-seaters. We've got the A5, the BMW 6 Series, and then there's the Bentley Continentals. And then you're looking at Bentley size repair bills. You know, you can pick a Bentley up for far less money than this cost, but you're looking at the age and wear and tear that goes with it. And this is about a 50 grand car. I think it's about 52 grand with the bits that it's got on it. It's not a particularly high spec car, but it's the top end of the S line. It's lacking a few things that I'd like. I like adaptive cruise, which I think on something these days it ought to have really. I think we should be having adaptive cruise, and I really am not keen on these screens stuck up. I'll go over that later. Now this is a nice road to drive up, but it's often so busy with traffic because it does run to motorway junction, but it's a nice scenic road with some interesting bends like this. It used to be called the Cunning Corner in that corner, but they changed the pub. It was cunning because they came flying down this road towards me into that left-hand bend, just about made it, and then lost it on the right-hand bend as they did a little Scandinavian flick and sent it all the other way. Back when cars were cars and men were men when sheep were nervous. Lovely view over that reservoir. We're up to 26 miles per gallon now, which is less than I'd expect, and certainly less than Audi claim. So I've opened my windows now. You can do I can do an acceleration, listen to the exhaust noise, just let that noisy truck by. It's quite a quiet car really. I'll do it now. There's nothing really of an exhaust note to speak of. It's quite shushed. It's not designed like that, I suppose, like the what they call it, RS5 is brutal. Nicely into that corner, lovely. It does handle well. In fact, I'm not going to go back on the motorway. That'd be boring. I'm going to go on a nice windy road and enjoy some speed limit legal spirited driving, shall we call it. Hopefully everybody in front of me gets on the motorway now. Most of them. I'm going to overtake this one. Of the world up here, junction 22, M62. It's highest motorway in England. We've just gone past the high point back there. But this is far more interesting than bringing it back on motorway. It does feel nicely planted, does this? I have to say. It feels like certainly like a smaller car than it is. Nice smooth tarmac, makes a change. Life. Run, sheepies, run. This is a 90-degree right. Want to put it in that barrier, would you? No sign of any traction control there, it just kept grip. It does handle well. got enough power. There's not excess of power, but it's enough. It is impressive how much power we get from smaller engines these days. I had an 89 Prelude 2 litre and it was running 150 horsepower from the factory, whereas this is 260 something, so it's a lot more power. And my Prelude only did about 21 miles per gallon as well. On these empty roads. Lovely. Look at that. What a view. Lovely. Sounds better in manual. What's that about? About, but it sounds better in manual. Maybe just so you can hold some RPM. Sounds good. Let's pop back windows down and listen to that in manual. Buffeting, not nice. So we've achieved 26 miles per gallon with a little bit of spirited driving and a little bit of cruising on cruise control. No motorway. I'll show you the reverse camera whilst I'm backing in. So it's got front and rear sensors on there, and then it's got just a reverse camera. There's no 360 view on this one. Part of the driver's pack. Now this driveway is very steep. It can be hard to back up in anything a bit snatchy, and this does it quite smooth and nice. And park. First job, I'm going to get in the back, see what it's like for legroom. This is my 5'8.5", so I've been told I sit quite a way back, so I think it's a fairly average position for a driver, so I won't move my seat. Can't get my head in. You've got to duck in. Quite a low roof rail. that's alright in the back actually. I thought it'd be worse than that. I've put my knees there. Yeah, 2.5 inches of room. Armrests in a nice position. We've got electric window there. It's got a centre console, which I think, does that open? It looks like it opens. Maybe not. Nope, it doesn't open. So there's no storage there, but it's at a nice height, and there's a 12-volt cigarette lighter and 2 USB ports there. And there's a plus and a minus here. What's that for? I'm not really sure. That's probably aircon. Does that move? No. All 3 headrests adjust. Put that one down out of view. But that's it. There's not a lot in the back. It is fairly basic. Headroom wise, oh yeah, there's only, well, not even my finger width when I'm sat there. So anybody that's taller than about 5'10" is they're gonna have to put their head forward. They won't be able to sit back like that. So yeah, that's quite that is low, isn't it? Yeah, if I stretch, I'm touching it there. That is low, surprisingly. Rear lights are not touch lights like the front ones. The front ones, you just touch the bulb and it comes on. These ones are a switch. I like the touch ones, that's a nice thing. Frameless windows, which auto drop when you open the door. Pop back up like that. As soon as your door comes away. You really have to bang these doors shut. Frameless on the front as well, and they actually pop up before the door latches. Right. I find myself a lot, you really gotta bang it shut. Fuel cap is your standard Audi, push to open. '95 E10. E10's alright as long as your engine is made for it. And then the boot. Now the boot has got this double click to open, which is nice. Double click to close. Nope. Why not? So you've got to come in. Press this to close it. Good size boot though. It is a good size boot because I mean your back seats end here, so you've got quite a length. That's a good size, and it's a nice sleek shape, isn't it? You know, it's a good shape. I particularly like those creases in the bonnet. Ignore all those flies we've killed. But the creases in the bonnet there, I think look cracking. We ought to pop the bonnet, didn't we? Because it's quite a long bonnet for what's only a 2-litre engine. I can't find the thing. Is that it? That's not it. Is that it? That's it. I think we push that to one side. Ah, yeah, there we go. That's why. You got to push that to the side I was trying to pull up. So, air intake. Less plastic boxes than I thought, because these just pop off, don't they? They're fairly accessible actually, quite good. Not that you'd probably want to be doing your own work on your own car if you just spent £50,000 and it's all under warranty. I need to stop my camera now to put this back on. Strangely, it's floppy, it's padded foam. It would have been nice for some kind of keyless entry. I don't think it's got anything like that, because it is a keyless start, but it's not unlocking when you pull a handle or anything. So you've got to... It's a little bit pointless having keyless ignition if you're not going to have keyless doors. On one, it's running. There's cool air coming from there. And it's silent. I pretty much can't tell that's on. On two, suddenly it steps up to this. Too loud. And 3, 4. Now it's starting to intrude at conversation level. To 6. I feel like I'd be shouting over that now. There's no need for that. That should be better than that. Look at the fingerprints everywhere. They shouldn't be glossy like this. Every time you touch it, leaves fingerprints. And I'm dubious about the longevity of this. You see, it's this soft stuff. I don't know. It's soft to touch. It's quite nice, like a pencil eraser. Soft, that sort of feel to it. But is that going to last? I don't know. The same all the way around. Yep, that's made of the same stuff. Is that Alcantara? Looks like it. None of this is actual metal, that's all plastic. Yep, plastic. So there's no metal in here really. Oh, I think we might have found some. Oh no. No, that's plasticky. Okay, so there's no metal in here, which it'd be nice to see some real brushed aluminium. Maybe a bit of leather. There's some leather on the seats, which if we switch around, it's got the S badge because it's an S line, and nice stitching around there. Same in the rear. It's this half leather going on. I'm not sure if it's real leather. Oh, and as I was on about in the back, the plus and minus, it is for the rear. So it's not 4-zone as it's 3-zone. So there we have it. We've had a little test drive. We've done 26 miles per gallon, which is less than you'd think. 26.3. Let me just get the. We've done that. 24 miles. No, sorry, averaged 24 miles an hour. 30-mile trip, an hour and 14 minutes, and 26.3 miles per gallon. The long-term memory on this car is showing 30 miles per gallon over 2,800 miles. So that's probably realistically what you could expect from it. 30 is not drastic, is it? But this day and age, I think you could do better, Audi. I had an A8 with the 3-litre diesel V6. It was nearly as fast as this. It was more luxurious, it was heavier, and it was averaging 32 miles to the gallon around town. And a lot more on a motorway. You could get up to 50 on a motorway. It was impressive. So why is this engine a litre short and not performing as it should? Think about that, Audi. Sort it out, Ben says. So that's it really. I think we've covered everything, haven't we? Just trying to look at what else we've got. I like having the sat-nav there and straight in front of you on the speedo, and if you press that view button, that makes your map even bigger, and I like that. That's nice. Nice touch, not having to go to your big silly screen. Speaking of big silly screens, Audi do it, BMW do it. Why is that stuck there like that? Look at, it's just, what an afterthought that looks like. You know, it's like they designed the whole car and then went, oh crap, we didn't put a screen in. Oh, just stick a tablet there, look, done. It shouldn't. It should sink in the dash out of the way, or it should be under a brow that continues across here. You know, that's just an ugly afterthought, is that? Got a lot of complaints about this 50 grand car, haven't I? Is it? Would you part with 50 grand for this? I mean, most people wouldn't. Most people are PCP and financing cars these days, but you know, it's 50 grand on the list price, 51 and a half, 52, something like that. Can you hear me over this fan? So would I buy it? Probably not. I think if I was going for something this size, I'd probably step up to the A6. If I wanted the coupe, I'd probably go for the A7. Just nicer in general. For me, I'd rather have one that's a few years old, dropped a chunk in depreciation, than a new A5. I know if it's a company car or something, that's probably not going to be a choice, but that's what I'd do. It's not a bad car, it's decent, but it's got a few gripes, you know, a few things that could be better. And people are, in general, from what I'm finding, people don't like this screen to control everything. It's unnecessary. It's nicer to just click a button. Like, there's no, other than volume or on and off, there's no sound system controls outside of that. So you can't switch between radio and thing without going into, you could do it on your steering wheel, you can do it in the system on there, but again, it's part of the computer. There's no one button there to say, I want radio, I want my Bluetooth player. It's a faffy, fiddly system. And when you go into it and look at it, there's a lot of menus for not that much content, really. I like the Android Play. That's nice. That does suit it. And you probably, when you're familiar with your phone, your apps and things like that, you're probably going to use that more than you touch that screen, to be honest. That's my preference. So that's it. That's my first car review. That's an Audi A5 45 TFSI Quattro mild hybrid, apparently. If you like my review, give us a thumbs up, comments below, subscribe, give us a subscribe. I might do some more car videos. I've quite enjoyed doing this. It's a break from spannering in my garage. So thanks for watching. See you next time.